What's going on? It's the Slightly Nocturnal Show. I'm Doc Holliday. I'm here with Bo Machado tonight. Today is December 29th, 2016. It is our last show of 2016. So we're excited about that. Gonna ring in the new year here soon. Alrighty, so a couple things. We'll just get kicked off real quick. I just want to thank everybody for the fan mail that we got over the holiday season. Somebody from Delaware sent me, Bo, and Rocketman a set of Christmas Vacation moose mugs or reindeer mugs. So I wanted to thank that person for that. And then somebody from the UK sent me a NES, one of the new Nintendo NESs. So, which are hard to find, which I really appreciate so much. So thank you for that fan mail. We got a bunch of cards and letters on top of that. So thank you all for that. We really appreciate that. On that note, let's play the intro and get into the show. All right. So what's going on, man?
I'm chilling. I was hearing the I Dream of Genie music in my head for some reason. I don't know what the hell.
The original, the Dick Van Dyke one?
Yeah. What was it like? Da, 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 da. That shit was just running through my head like I was in an elevator or something.
So what you been up to, man? You been having a good day?
Yeah, it's been a day.
It's been a day.
Working. You know, Thursday is never a good day though, right? Like, I mean, it's fun to do the show and to do this, but that's Thursday night. Thursday day is always like the day before Friday.
It's the day before freedom, right?
Yeah. So it's just that day you're just waiting to get through. You know what I mean? Like no matter how good the day is, you're like, this day needs to end so I can get to that next one.
It's like every day except Friday, right? Like, and then the weekend always goes by too fucking fast, you know. So.
Yeah, those days you're like, slow down.
That's right. It needs to be 2:00 on Saturday afternoon for like 6 hours.
Come back to me. That's right.
Oh man. All right. So you have a good Christmas, man?
Yeah. It was good. My daughter got the bike she wanted.
Well, Santa came through, eh?
Yeah. No training wheels though, so trying to run behind the bike and hold the seat.
I saw a video of that on one of the social media somewhere. That was cool.
Yeah, not the best for an aching back.
Oh, it's good for a dad to teach his daughter how to ride a bike, though. That's good shit.
Oh yeah,
She'll remember that forever. So.
Yeah, no, I think so too. She gave up pretty quick though. We got it, like we did about an hour of it and a couple falls, and then she was a little less excited about it than in the beginning.
Has she gone out since then? She's not afraid of it, is she?
No, she's not.
Okay, good.
It wasn't as easy as in her mind it was gonna be.
Oh yeah. I remember when I first started riding my bike, like when my stepdad came out and took the training wheels off mine and my brother's bike, and I was like, oh, well, I literally was like, wait a second, what the fuck is going on here? And my stepdad's like, you're 5 years old, it's time to fucking learn. I'm like, okay. So after many scrapes and bruises and, bonked heads, we finally got it.
Yeah.
Me and my brother got it under control.
She got a nice big bruised up knee, and that was enough for her to say, okay, I just want to chill for a little bit.
Yeah. So, my dad, he probably did it too early though. We terrorized the neighborhood. That was, I think it took us about a day and a half, and we had that shit down, and we were gone. So.
Yeah, she still struggles with because the bike has coaster brakes.
Yeah.
So as soon as she stops pedaling forward, she brakes herself.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's still the struggle at this point.
She'll have fun. Soon as it clicks with her, man, it'll be like it's a whole new thing. It's pretty cool.
Oh yes.
So, be hard to keep tabs on her after that. Should be wanting to go everywhere. You'll have to get a bike to go with her.
I know that's what'll happen. Yep. But that's good. We always enjoyed bike riding when we were in Maryland. We used to like to ride on the Canal and do some things like that. So
Good shit.
Yeah.
All
How about
right.
you?
It was all right. Christmas. It was all right. You know, I'm stressed to the max right now. I've got a move coming up, and so I don't know
Going
where I'll be
snowed
next
in, right?
week. I've been snowed in. I have been snowed in for a couple days. Actually, today was the first day I got out of my house. I probably could have got out in my Jeep before, but um, today I went over and helped a friend put an airbag in his truck.
Oh, nice.
I love it's my friend Steve. You know Steve, and
Yep. Yep.
um, he's a good guy. He's on. He works for the federal government too, and every year he saves up all his leave and takes like 36 days of it. So, and
Oh,
he's
wow.
on that right now. So,
That's the way to do it.
yeah, he does it every year. I know they don't. I remember when I worked with him, they never were happy about that. So, but they can fucking suck
Oh,
a
I'm
dick and
sure.
die. So,
Yeah, that's the thing for us too. Like we have to get, and so really they make it hard on you to not just use your sick leave. You know what I mean? Because they have to approve everything else, but sick leave you can just take at your leisure. So, but like you have to put in like 45 days in advance and close your clinics and do all
where
this
is
other.
that? Is that written down somewhere though?
I don't know if it's written down, but it's the new policy for clinical staff at the VA
So
anyway.
when I was working for the VA, I had this boss that people know I did not enjoy working for. But she came down one day and she's like, "Okay, so I've started a new Outlook calendar. If your leave is not in that Outlook calendar a month prior, you can't take the leave." And I looked at her and I was like, she goes around, the circle. Are you okay with that? You okay? She gets to me and I'm like, um, well, as long as you can show me in writing where that's a regulation, I'll be perfect with it. And she's like, don't make things difficult here. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna abide by that. So, and she's like, well, if you don't, it's not on there in a month, I'll just mark you as AWOL. I was like, well, we might have to get the union involved. We might have to step it up to the next level if you want to be a raging fucking cunt. So, yeah. So the whole like leave system is, I never had any problems taking leave like that until I worked for the VA. I worked for
Yeah, I, they're the worst, I think, as far as their policies on that. Well, and the same thing, like, so I came here, and in my interviews and things, I was never told that I would be having to work on Saturdays. So I get here, and I'm
oh
one of like
shit, yeah,
three,
that's right.
yeah, one of three clinicians that gets hired all at the same time, and apparently none of us were told anything about Saturdays. And so I get here, and then I get told, oh yeah, and you have to work like every seventh Saturday, and and you don't get overtime.
Do you get comp
You
time?
can only get comp time, yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, they have to approve when you can use your comp time, and they gotta you gotta close the clinics and all that. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
my god, Jesus Christ.
so it's really kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, that seems very painful. So,
Yeah.
and the other thing I didn't like about when I came to the VA, it was the first place where they didn't have what they call a flex schedule. And really, to me, every government agency should be on a flex schedule. Like, it's just because if you're 2 minutes late into the door, they want you to stay. They want to charge you 15 minutes of leave. That's what
Right.
because it's done in 15-minute increments. That's how leave
Hmm.
works. So I remember one time I was 2 minutes. I literally came in 2 minutes late, and it was real early on. I only been there maybe 15, 16 days, and the head of our office was like, I'm gonna have to charge you 15 minutes leave. Don't worry about it. And I was like, you guys don't aren't on a flex schedule here? And he's like, oh no, 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 no. And I was like, well, if you charge me 15 minutes leave, I'm going back down to my car. I'm not gonna. He's like, well, why would you do that? I was like, because I'm not gonna sit here and work for free. Like, if you're
Right.
charging me leave, I'm leaving. You know, and
Hmm.
he's like, well, that doesn't seem right. I was like, well, it doesn't seem right for me that you want to charge me 15 minutes to leave for being 2 minutes late one time. And he's like,
True.
I was like, well, and he's like, well, I guess that's your right. And I'm like, yeah, it is my right. If you want to charge me 15 minutes. So I never did. I always tried to talk them into that, and they were like, no, it's the VA's policy. Nobody's on a flex schedule. I'm like, you don't understand how much more easier things would be if you would be on a flex schedule. Like those kind of little things. Like if I was 2 minutes late, I just stay 2 minutes after and make up for it.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, work 2 minutes into your lunch period.
Yeah,
Or,
whatever. You know. Oh, and
no.
that was the other thing. Oh my god, the fucking lunches, like and breaks. So the VA they were so anal about this shit. Like we had to go and sign on this sign out sheet when we went to lunch, and we had 30 minutes, which
Oh wow.
it's fucking terrible. 30-minute lunches, like it basically confines you to your workplace.
Yeah, you're stuck at post, right?
And then we have 15-minute breaks on top of it. And the same thing, we had 2 sign out sheets, a morning 15-minute break and an afternoon 15-minute break. And if you didn't do that, you were gonna you got wrote up for it. If you didn't take your 15-minute breaks, you got wrote up for it.
Oh wow.
And so I was like, well, why don't I asked when I was like, well, can I just skip the 15-minute breaks and have an hour lunch? And they're like, oh no. You guys want to make it the most difficult situation that I have ever heard of before in my life. So
yeah, it's really pretty crazy.
It seemed to me that they were, and it probably wasn't my boss's fault or her boss's fault. It just seemed like they went out of their way to make things more difficult than they really needed to be. So it's just, and it's aggravating to everybody, I'm sure.
Oh, I know.
And then I would get the whole, you just need to go with the flow. I'm like, yeah.
But go with the flow would be like having a flex schedule. Right. And so here's the real rationale. You know what I mean? Like, so if the boss of a department said, okay, we're going to operate on a flex schedule, and I'm going to basically do it like, I guess this might sound like ethnocentric or something, but have you heard of like 1-ish, 2-ish? Because it's like, it's like Jewish time, people would say.
Yep.
And so basically it means 15 minutes before or after the hour.
Yeah.
They would just operate on that schedule. And no offense to anybody who's Jewish. But if they would just operate on a similar schedule to, 15 minutes before or after, you're not late or whatever. You just owe us that amount at the end or at some point in the day.
When I worked for a different agency, they had a flex schedule, and they had, I guess there's several different types of flex schedules when it comes to that. And their flex schedule was, if you were a field worker, you had to have 40 hours in a week, Sunday through Saturdays. You just had to get your 40 hours in. And they didn't give a fuck about comp time, or what's the other one? They got comp time, and then there's another one you can have, like,
I don't know, like overtime?
Maybe it's overtime. But what's the one you can only carry 24 hours at a time? Is that comp time?
That's comp, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So, they were all about that shit. Like, it's, whatever you needed to do to get the job done, and it was great. And so that was my schedule. Sunday through a Saturday, I had to have at least 40 hours. It didn't fucking matter. There was no micromanagement. And it was the honor system, everybody worked with a partner, so in the field. So it wasn't like I was going to nobody was screwing anybody over. So, but then the office folks, the folks that worked in the office, they worked on a Monday through Friday schedule, and they had 40 hours. But the stipulation with them was that they had to do it between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m., which is very, very flexible. That's a very fair schedule. So if people wanted to come in at 5 a.m., they did that. If they wanted to come in at 10 and work till 9, they did that. So as long as the job got done and the people, you had if we had meetings or stuff like that. So
yeah, my take is if it doesn't really impact patient care, then it really shouldn't be viewed as that big of a deal.
I agree, and I don't see how somebody having a flex schedule could impact patient care as long as they're there when they're there to see the patients, right?
Yeah, right. And your schedule would be known, and they would, and like MSAs, the assistants who do scheduling with the VA, would book people into your scheduled slots, no matter what time that was. Really, a flex schedule could be beneficial because you could allow therapists to work some into the evenings or something like that, and so you could actually offer potentially more hours outside of the normal business hours.
We got a viewer asking a question for you here, Bo.
I may have an answer.
They're asking. They said that you said you do a lot of complaining about working for the VA. Have you thought about working in the private sector?
Yeah, well, I spent 12 years working in the private sector, so The issue with the private sector and clinical social work is you don't make very much money, and student loans are not inexpensive to pay back.
Yeah,
So
you've mentioned that before. That it's the
yeah,
money difference is just drastic.
yeah.
So
So
and people got
yeah,
to pay their bills. So
so you know, and these complaints exist in other places too, because you're locked into care for people. And at one point, I worked at a for-profit agency, and I only got paid for the people that I saw. And so there can be complaints other places. Um, some of the minutia of the VA can just be frustrating. But I think that's true at any job. So,
yeah, yeah.
but so yeah, to answer your question, I have worked in the private sector, and I've also worked for county and state government as well. So,
We appreciate you asking that question. Thanks so much.
yeah.
And I enjoy. I've been offered I've been offered a new job with the federal government, and I probably won't take it just due to time constraints, and me moving. But there's benefits to working for the federal government. I would encourage any young person that is probably looking for a job, even if you've been to college a little bit, if you have a degree or if you have no degree, there's a lot of entry level jobs where you can get. It's basically a guaranteed job with guaranteed health benefits, and a guaranteed pension. Once you get on as a GS permanent, you're set, and you can climb the ladder from there. It's not a bad place to work. I would encourage you to get into something that you would at least mildly enjoy, so that you're not miserable. It looks good on a resume later on that you've worked for the federal government, even if you decide to leave. So,
Well, yeah, and the retirement, the cost of healthcare and just benefits in general typically are much better with the federal government than they are in the private sector, unless you're in like the corporate world.
yeah,
Because I see veterans for therapy who work in hospitals and things around here, and sometimes in therapy they talk about their benefits and things, and they're significantly worse in the private sector than what the VA provides or other federal agencies provide to their employees. Because the healthcare and those kind of things are across most federal agencies.
yeah, yeah.
So, and I guess I had to complain less about the VA. Jeez, I didn't think I did it that much.
No, I don't think you do. I don't think
I
so.
say I know you complain a lot about the VA.
I do.
But
I do a lot of complaining about
I
it.
try to walk the line about it most of the time.
And I don't think that everybody complains about their job or past jobs that they've had. I think that's a fair thing to do. It's just part of the rhetoric when it comes to working.
Or yeah, and I think unless you really love what you do all the time, which I don't know how many people are fortunate enough to do that, then there are things that kind of grate on you, and some days are better than others.
I mean, I like what I do now, but there are some days that are just shit days. There is. No matter what you do, I think.
Most of them are Mondays and Thursdays, right?
No, not mostly. I think once I get moved and settled, I think a lot of stress will probably go away from me, and I need that to happen. So,
Yeah.
I was going to talk about real quick too a new show that I started watching. I actually started watching it last year. I just want to touch on it real quick. If you're like a history buff, you like World War II, there's a show called Man in the High Castle. It's an Amazon Prime show.
Oh,
You can
I hear
find
good
it
things about
different places, but basically the gist of it is the show is set in modern times, as if Germany won World War II. So there is lots of fucked up shit going on. There's a resistance, like a American resistance. So basically, it's
And
like
America's divided into three different zones, right? Like
yeah, and there's
Nazi Germany, Japan, and who else? Italy, maybe? Or I don't know, because I haven't seen the show. I just have heard things about it.
it's like basically like New York City is an occupied Germany. It's
Okay.
like there's Nazi it's just weird to see that shit everywhere. So, and I encourage you to watch it. It looks like a really good show. I think there's gonna be some big twists, because it looks like maybe that there's been some stuff floating around the show that maybe that Germany didn't win the war, and it's like a big propaganda show. So Yeah, so it'd be interesting. It's kind of probably like Westworld will probably have some big twist here coming up. So I encourage folks to watch it. And then there's the other show, I think it's on the History Channel, called Hunting Hitler. I think that's what it's called, right?
Yeah, that's a good one. Tim Kennedy from UFC's on that.
It's a really fucking good show. So the new season's about to come out, so I'm looking forward to that. And that basically the snippet of that show is that that Hitler didn't die in the bunker, and they're chasing him, kind of like these clues around, and now they're in like South America looking for leads to maybe where he's died and where he went. So.
And they've talked to some eyewitnesses who report having seen Hitler after he supposedly had committed suicide.
Yeah.
Like some people who are still alive and were children at the time. So
of course, everybody knows I'm a huge conspiracy theorist, so I love this fucking show. And I've always thought that Hitler didn't commit suicide. Like, if you think about Hitler, if you ever read Mein Kampf, like, there's no way that, if you've done any research on Hitler, Hitler's not the type of person that would go in a bunker and kill himself with him and his wife. Like, that just doesn't.
It's pretty narcissistic.
So,
that's unusual behavior for a narcissist.
That's true. Like, and so, in what you do, Bo, you're a thinker of the minds. You're a healer of the minds. Like, so, yeah. So for you to say something like that, that's that helps just reinforce that probably that, I guess anything is possible, but there's just a lot of proof showing the other way. Kind of like my moon theory. So, there's just a lot of proof in other directions. So. I hope they find something definite. It'd be really cool to see that,
It would be. I was hoping they'd find that airplane, and anybody who hasn't watched it should watch last season because the new one, like Doc said, is getting ready to start. But there was one they thought they knew where the airplane that he had escaped in was at, like in the
crazy thing to me was like they kept finding
river.
They found all those they found that house.
Mm-hmm.
It was all torn down. It had all these Nazi money was in there. They found a picture, and all this stuff that's like why would there be any of that shit in South America unless
I know.
either Hitler or part of the upper echelon came there to hide. So
well, and that's right. That was always that whole Boys of Brazil thing, and supposedly there were a significant number of Nazis and Nazi wealth that all escaped Germany to South America.
It was, neat that how they showed like how maybe he escaped on a U-boat and where he may have come to in a port there. So, or not a port,
they had
but like
eyewitnesses. Yeah. And they had those like the folks who had been children, who had witnessed him being in those areas after after he supposedly was dead. So
that would be nuts. Like if you were alive today and you're like, oh yeah, I remember seeing Hitler running around here when I was a kid. Like,
well,
nuts.
and like ancestry, people who are actually his descendants, who are kind of unknown descendants right now.
Yeah, you surely he came over. He was a man. Like he probably procreated when he came over there, if he did. So he could have all kinds of illegitimate or legitimate children there. Or like I said, heirs. So yeah, I am like a huge fan of World War II. It's like my favorite time in history. There and in like the 1900s to 1920s. So I really wish I'd have been born somewhere in that time period.
Yeah, you want to be the Great Gatsby?
No, like a lot of people don't.
I'd have been happy to be the Great Gatsby.
I don't know if people know, like, my family's history is, everybody knows who the Pinkertons were. On my dad's side of the family, I have like a rough and like not a harsh past, but I've had like there's what I did in the military and stuff like that. So, but my family was brought here to kill Pinkertons. Like that's what we were like. Somebody went over to Italy and Ireland and hired these people to come over here and kill the Pinkertons off, like that were bothering them. So that's what my family came here to do. So, like just a bunch of rough and tumble people. So.
Yeah, I know that my family, like out in California and the western states, on my father's side, were all like bootleggers.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure had prohibition never come to an end, that would be where the family line of work was.
So, and my dad, my real father used to, whenever I'd have problems, and I'd get mad or have some kind of rage fit or something, he'd always be like, this is why you're like this. It's because these are our ancestors and they're insane. I'm not
Right.
blaming anything on them people, but
It's genetic predisposition.
I guess I've never been shown a huge amount of proof that is actually a real thing, but I guess I'm not going to completely deny it. So
Yeah.
so there's too much proof in the fact that people with have mega alcoholic problems are their kids are more prone to that. That kind
sure.
of behavior. And I don't know if that comes from seeing it and being around it as a kid, or but doctors and psychologists would like to tell you that shit is inside their DNA somewhere and in their genes. So
Right.
but maybe it's more of a form of they're susceptible to addictive behavior. So
Yeah. Yeah, because environmental influences definitely play a huge role. So
watch Man in the High Castle, watch Hunting Hitler. They're both great shows. And as far as somebody's asking us about the schedule next week, I don't know. It all depends about. I'm supposed to move next Thursday and Friday, so that's like when I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be packing my truck on Thursday and Friday with the movers, and I'm supposed to be moving. So it all kind of depends on when I get in my new place, when I get the internet up, if it's there when I get there. So I'm trying to get all that squared away this week and the first part of next week. So let's talk about. I see you got a list here of 2016 top 10 moments in sports.
Oh, do you want to jump into my list of top 10 moments?
Yeah, let's talk about this, because, man, I don't like some of these.
You don't like them?
I don't like some of these.
That's okay. It was my list, so you can have your own.
I don't have a list, but I'm definitely not going to agree with number 4 there, for sure. So
let me see what number 4 is. So what I did is I came up with the 10 moments
9.
that I thought were a big deal for the year, and then I tried to order them in the number I thought they were important.
I'm surprised number 4 is not number 1.
I know, well, no, because I tried to go with them through importance, as far as not just this year, but how impactful they were in general. So, and then I made some notes for myself about some. So, you want to count down from 10 to 1, or do you want to go from 1 to 10 to 1?
So, I assume number 10 is not as high as number 1, right?
Yeah, that's
because
the
number 1 I see there. That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah. So my number 10 this year was Kevin Durant signing with the Warriors. So the Warriors are coming off a Game 7 championship loss to LeBron James and the Cavaliers that was at home, and that was after they won 73 games and broke my Chicago Bulls.
Well, they were up, too, weren't they? 3-1? The Warriors were up 3-1 in the series?
Yeah. So basically the best team through the regular season in the NBA last year added top 3 talent to their roster. So I thought that was significant. As far as free agent signings go, that was like when LeBron James decided to leave Cleveland and go to Miami. You know what I mean? Like that kind of significance. So I put that as number 10 on my list. Should we say any more about that, or do you think we covered that?
Oh, yeah, whatever you want to say about it.
Feeling good about that? Feeling good about the Warriors? So
the Warriors should be... It's like, they were like a nobody, nothing team for so long.
Well, they were good when I was a kid, man. They had Run TMC. So anybody that is around 40 remembers Tim Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, and Chris Mullin, and Don Nelson's crazy offense. Yeah. So they were good. They were never like championship good, but they were a solid 50-win team. Made the playoffs, and a really fun brand of basketball to watch. That whole fast break style. And Tim Hardaway had the killer crossover.
They just had terrible uniforms, in my opinion.
And later, the Malcolm X killer crossover sneakers. Yeah, their uniforms weren't the best, but nobody's uniforms are great. Until Michigan's Fab Five wore long shorts, and then the NBA had adopted long shorts. Because until then, everybody was wearing the crazy nut huggers. So I mean, obviously this year, I think even though LeBron James and the Cavs are still the champs and they're talented, probably the team to beat isn't the champs, but is instead the Warriors, who won those 73 games last year and then added Kevin Durant. So that was my number 10, moment of 2016. My number 9 was Kobe Bryant's last game. He scored 60. A scoring 60 in his last NBA game is kind of a big deal. I think he took like 60 shots too to do it. I don't have the exact stat here. Um, but I thought, being Kobe's last game, him being a scorer and going out with 60 is a good deal. I will say the Lakers, you know, they had that one shining moment of Kobe 60 in his last game, but they finished with a record of 17 and 65 and ended up with the second pick in the NBA draft. So for the Lakers as a franchise, it wasn't necessarily a good season. But Kobe's farewell tour ended well with his one shining moment there. Are you a Kobe fan?
No, I'm
You
not.
like you
No,
don't like the Mamba?
I
Oh.
don't like Kobe.
And that's why you think that his last game wasn't significant? Wasn't a top 10 moment of the
I
year?
I uh I feel like they probably let him score 60 points because it was his
No
last game.
fucking way, dude. They didn't let him
I
score
watched
60.
that game.
I watched it too. They didn't let him. I mean, he took like 56 shots to score it. If they were letting him, he'd have had that many. He'd had 30 layups and had it in half the shots.
I think they go easy on people when they're retiring. So
I don't know, man. So, but anyway, Lakers had a rough year. They're better this year. Uh, Luke Walton looks like a good rookie head coach, and and
let's
the
talk about that
talent
for a
starting.
second. Let's just take a break
Mm-hmm.
and talk about that. So I
Okay.
didn't know he was so fucking young. Like
Oh yeah, he's like 35 or something.
he's like, and I started looking at it. I like this guy's. I started trying to find who was the youngest NBA coach, and I think there's one other guy that's younger than him. But I remember when he played basketball, and I was thinking, God,
Oh yeah.
wasn't he just playing? And so I started to look at it, did a little research about it the other night, and it's just insane that they have these really young coaches, and he's doing a good job at LA. They got a good record this
Hmm.
year. So,
Yeah, I mean, they're much more competitive than they were last year.
back when, when I was younger and I followed, I had more time to follow sports all the time, especially NBA basketball. There was never young coaches. There were always older guys like Doc Rivers and, Phil Jackson. They were older guys. They were guys that had been around for a long time.
Yeah.
They were they were probably 15 plus years out of playing. So,
Yeah, I think that started to change with like Avery Johnson and Isaiah Thomas,
yep.
and like when that set of stars started to get head coaching jobs. That's
And
when
it
you
looks
kind of
like
saw that
Luke got
shift.
his coaching career on track when the lockout came. He went and coached at some college, I think, for a
Okay.
season. Well, if I remember right, he went during the lockout. He went and coached somewhere at a
Yeah,
college. So,
I don't know, but I'll take your word for it.
and I think that's how he got his start. Like he
Yeah.
coached and then he went back to play, finished out a season, and then I think he went on from
So,
there.
well, and
He
of
was,
course he's like basketball royalty. He's
yeah,
Bill Walton's son. So
yeah.
Bill Walton of like UCLA and Portland Trailblazer fame. I think late in his career he might have been a bench player for a Celtics championship team. That was after his knees and feet had started to really go bad on him. But Bill Walton was one of the greatest big men to ever play the game.
Yeah.
So
And props to him for being a young guy and being a successful coach like he is right now. So
yep. So and then he worked under um, the Golden State Warrior coaching staff. Like he comes off of that tree.
yep.
So and that's probably why they're doing well and have a fun brand of basketball to watch. Uh, so back into the top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry.
All right. No worries, man. Just wanted to make sure you didn't have any more like love you wanted to throw at Luke Walton.
No.
And he deserves it this year. I think he's
I
he's a
do. I
good young
think so
good
too.
young
He's
coach.
doing a good job. Like for such a young
So
guy, he's doing a really good.
well, he's a young guy with a young team. So anytime you can reach young players and get them to buy into what you're doing, that's a good thing.
I agree.
So my number 8 was Usain Bolt being dominant again. And so I looked up the stat about him because I was looking at, so there's a couple of different events from the Olympics that I put in my list. So he ran 3 races and won 3 gold medals, and he actually has done that in the last 3 Olympics. So he's 9 for 9 with 9 gold medals, and this was his last Olympics. So obviously that's fairly significant.
Yeah.
So that was my number 8. You have anything you want to say about Bolt?
No, he's a good athlete. So.
I think he had a tryout for the Oakland Raiders to be a receiver once, but
Oh, really?
I guess his hands didn't translate to the NFL what his speed does. I don't know. I remember there was a rumor, but that he was trying out for the Raiders
I
at
would
one
think
point.
something like that. He's gonna have to put on weight in other areas of his body, so that would probably reduce speed, you know.
Yeah.
So
Well, you just run him on the fly route, like they used to do Randy Moss.
yeah, yeah.
Just be like, run deep, son. Get out
Run
there
and
and
don't get hit, bitch.
yeah. They just put him on the sideline so he doesn't have to take a lot of shots. You know what I mean? Just take the top off the defense. Um, so then my number 7 was Neymar. His penalty kick went in the gold for Brazil, which was the host country for the Olympics. So
That
that
was a
was
big
a pretty
deal.
big deal.
That was a big
hmm
deal.
Soccer, probably the biggest sport in the world. Every country other than America, soccer is probably their number one sport.
Yep.
So winning gold in your home country is a huge thing. Uh,
As bad
my
as the
number,
Olympics went,
yeah,
Brazil needed some kind of shining
I
moment
know
there.
that was it, right? That was it.
So
So my number 6 was the Villanova title game. So anybody who's a big NCAA basketball fan might remember like the last minute of that game. They were kind of exchanging buckets, and Marcus Page from North Carolina went down the court and hit like a double clutch 3-pointer that tied the game, and it looked like it was going to go to overtime. And then Chris Jenkins from Villanova going the other way as like time expired hit the 3-pointer that then won the game for Villanova. So it was a hell of a championship game.
we all know the game that mattered there for NCAA last year. Duke, of course, won the Final Four. So, which is a way bigger title than the goddamn NCAA title.
Then anything you want to say more about that?
No, no,
No, you sure?
I'm good. Duke, baby.
Okay.
Struggling this year.
So my number 5 was Michael Phelps. He won. I made notes for myself on some of this stuff because it was too much shit to just remember in my head. So Phelps won at age 31, which is old for swimmers and tennis players, young for most other things. So Michael Phelps at age 31 won 5 gold medals and 1 silver, and that brought his lifetime count to 28 medals total. So 23 gold, 3 silver, 2 bronze. He's the most decorated Olympian in history. And then I did look up who the next most decorated was, and it was a Soviet Union gymnast named Larissa Latinina, and I probably screwed her last name
Oh,
up.
that's right.
Uh,
Latsanina. That's right.
but she had 18 medals and competed from 1956 to 64. So he had 10 more medals than the next closest medal winner.
I will say
Um,
this about Phelps and his record. Good fucking luck, kids. Like, good fucking
yeah,
luck. Because you ain't ever... Like, I'll say that record stands for at least 50 more years. So,
yeah. I mean, he was pretty special. As a Marylander, kind of proud of that.
he's
The
not special.
Baltimore Bullet.
He's not
Yeah,
fucking
okay.
special.
He is special.
He's
Then,
not
and it
special.
speaks to my argument of special
No, it
people that
doesn't.
can do special
He's
things
just
from an
gifted
earlier show.
gifted in swimming. But he's a
You're
great
just
athlete.
you're just using a different word for the same thing.
I don't like that word. It gives
Well,
people a fucking crutch.
yeah, if you say so. I don't think he needs one.
Phelps is an amazing athlete. He really is. So,
Yeah, very special swimmer.
oh my god.
So my number four was the Denver Broncos winning the Super Bowl and Von Miller's MVP performance, where he was really unblockable and sort of changed the tempo of that game by himself with the amount of pressure he was able to keep on Cam Newton. So I know the Doc's unhappy about that because the Cowboys didn't even sniff a Super Bowl. When's the last time you guys sniffed a Super Bowl?
Been a
Was it like 1996?
long time, sir. A long time.
Yeah.
And I don't think it'll happen this year either. But we'll have to see.
No, I mean the nice thing. So, I mean your quarterback and your running back are rookies, and so there's a solid foundation. So even if you don't do it this year, sometimes you have to learn how to win in the NFL.
I think
So
they got the
playoffs are
winning.
different.
I think they got it under control.
Well,
It's
but
whether they can
playoffs are
keep it up or not. Yeah, I agree. It's
Yeah.
a different type of game. So
Yeah. So and I'm not saying they can't. I'm just saying
I think
I
it'll
don't.
be. I think it'll be a challenge for them. So. So I
Yeah.
wish him the best, but I think it'll be a challenge.
So, and I don't think they want to see the Giants again. I think I think the Giants scare the Cowboys and the Patriots. I think those two teams are like, fuck. I hope somebody beats the Giants before I got to play them.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
So that's my thoughts on that. So my number 3 was Conor McGregor, who probably has had the greatest year of an MMA fighter ever since at least the UFC blew up. So he won 2 titles. So he became the first UFC, like the first mixed martial artist to hold uh, championships in 2 classes. So do you want to say anything bad about Conor?
No, no.
Okay. Hell of a fighter and hell of a showman. So like the guy or dislike the guy, he's good for the sport because people tune in to see him win or to see him lose. Um, so that was my number 3. My number 2 was the Cleveland Cavaliers winning that championship over the Warriors, who we discussed earlier. And so I had a few notes here to talk about how important that was. So that was Cleveland's first championship in 52 years. The last title for the city of Cleveland was won by the Cleveland Browns in 1964. And then the city itself actually had one hell of a year. You know, if Drew Carey was talking, he'd say they rocked because the Cleveland Indians even made it to the World Series and almost won the World Series.
Yeah.
So ESPN reported that Cleveland sports endured 146 seasons across all major sports without a championship before Cleveland won that. So for those Cleveland fans, that was a long time coming. So that was my number 2, and congratulations to LeBron, who was the king and brought the crown home to his hometown Cavaliers. And then my number 1 was the Cubs, who broke the longest drought in professional sports history by winning their first World Series since 1908. So and Bill Murray wept.
It was
tears of joy.
It was good.
So congratulations to Chicago and Cleveland fans. Those victories were long times coming, and for me the top moments of the year. Even though I'm a Denver Broncos fan, I stuck the Broncos at 4. so that was my top 10 moments in sports for 2016. There are always every year lots of great moments. Alabama football, sorry, didn't put you in there with your special onside kick that helped turn the tide against Clemson. U.S. female gymnasts, you guys dominated in Brazil also. Sorry you didn't make my top 10. Can't think of anybody else I should really apologize to off the top of my head. Any other athletes who had significantly special 2016s, all apologies. So what do you think, man? You want to pull any of those out of there? Do you have any moments you can think that this should replace any of those?
Donald Trump won the election.
Well, that's not a sports moment, I don't think.
Oh, true enough. He's talking about sports.
He killed the USFL.
That didn't happen in fucking 2016 though.
No, that did not. So yeah, I think as far as significant events of 2016, that is probably in America the most significant. A reality TV show host and billionaire became the leader of the free world. So.
Yeah, it was. Those are all good. I mean, I of course don't like the Rocketman is calling me. He obviously doesn't know the show's going on. You know, I guess the Rio Olympics had shitloads of them. You know, between all the there was a country that's
Kate Ledecky, the female swimmer from Maryland, won a bunch of medals too.
Yeah, they had a lot of bad low moments in the had problems with the water, had problems with countries like not giving their athletes their stuff that they needed, stealing shit.
The Zika virus.
Yeah, a lot of crap was going on. So, the Ryder Cup, Rory McDonald and Patrick Reed. If you're a golf fan,
Yep.
that was pretty epic this year. So
That was a big deal. You're right. I'm not a huge golf fan. Golf makes me drink and aggravates me. So that's why in my top 10 moments, I left it out.
Yeah, I mean those are all good. They are. So
So I did put some thought into it. I I wrote notes and made a list for myself.
yeah, Stephen Curry had a good year in sports too. So
Mm-hmm. Yep.
so, and then I think Von Miller his strip sack in the Super Bowl. God damn it. So
Yep. Yep. And that's like I said, I only put that at number 4, man. So you should be proud of me. I was objective when I came in came into my
shit,
top
man.
10.
So I mean,
There was no subjectivity there.
So yeah, I think those are all very valid. They're very if you're gonna step outside the box and look at it from the outside, those are all very good things that happen in sports.
And of course, I started talking about sports on a podcast. So that's significant.
Right. So, so I just want to give an update here. If you're an NCAA fan for football, Virginia Tech just came back and scored fucking 35 unanswered points.
No shit.
Yeah,
35-24.
They were down 24-zip at the going into the third quarter, and they've scored 35 unanswered points. So they are up.
Wow.
So, and then a lot of fucking teams have lost in these bowl games that I am just shocked over. So, UCF lost to Arkansas State. Let's see, I have a list here. BYU.
Maryland lost to
Wyoming.
Boston College. That was
Yeah.
sad for me.
Yeah. Troy beat Ohio. Mississippi beat Miami, Ohio by 1 point. NC State beat Vanderbilt. Wake Forest.
Miami dominated West Virginia.
Yeah,
that was
they
kind of
did.
surprising.
Wake Forest beat up on Temple. Army beat fucking North Texas. So Boise State lost to goddamn Baylor. So,
Ooh, I know that broke your heart. Boise
was not
State's
a happy
that
camper.
little team that you like so much.
Northwestern beat Pitt. All these ranked teams lost. Kansas State beat Texas A&M. So it was like it's a rocky bowl season. Then it just goes to show this is why we should have a bigger playoff. So
I think so too.
Kinks in the armor, man. They showed up at the bowl game, or maybe we had more of these asshole seniors that decided not to play in their last game. So
Yeah, not that I've heard of though. And again, I don't think you guys are asshole seniors. In fact, if you need a life coach, let the show know.
That's right. I'll point you in the right direction because I don't want anything to do with your sorry asses. It's a team sport. Play the goddamn team sport. And
I
stop
say make your
pissing
millions
off-
and don't get hurt.
Stop pissing off Nick Saban, for God's sakes.
Oh, Nikki will be okay.
So, and then tomorrow night, there's a big UFC card I'm really looking forward to. Lots of
Me
big
too.
name fighters are going to fight. It's a pay-per-view, so make sure you tune in. I'll be tweeting live during the fight, so
Oh, that's cool.
maybe me and Bo can talk some shit to each other on Twitter. So, all right, so let's just do it. Let's just pick who you think's gonna win. Do you have you? I got the card here in front of me. So
Yeah, I got a card in front of me too.
So the prelims will start there with Alex Olivier and Tim Means. I got Tim Means winning that fight hands down. So
Yeah, I agree with that.
and then I got Brandon Thatch versus Nico Price. I got Thatch taking
Thatch.
that.
Yeah, me too.
Carlos Jr. and Marvin Vettorelli. I got Vettorelli on that one.
Really, I want Junior to win that one.
I just think he's gonna win. We'll see. I got Mike Pyle and then Alex Garcia. I say Pyle.
I got Pyle.
Yeah, Pyle win that fight. The catchweight fight, Johnny Hendricks and Neil Mangy. I got Neil taking Johnny Hendricks out. Although I really
Oh
want
man,
Johnny Hendricks to win, I think Neil
I
Maness.
love Big Rig.
So
He was overweight though.
I think Neil's gonna take that fight. So,
I
and
think
then
he needs to start if he's not gonna stop fighting. I think he needs to just go ahead and fight heavier. Just go up.
I agree. So, because this is not his first time missing weight. So,
It's his third. It's his third time that he couldn't cut where he was
and
supposed
Dana
to cut.
White, if anybody knows anything about Dana White, that is like his pet peeve when it comes. Like literally, the fighters have
He
one
fired
fucking
Rumble
job.
over it.
Yep, they have one fucking job. Like, goddamn, make your weight. You have all this time to make it. Make your weight. And then we got then the main card. We got Smolka versus Borg. I got Borg on
Borg
that
was
one.
overweight too.
Yep.
He was like
Borg.
5 pounds over.
I got Borg.
Yeah,
winning
I
fight.
think Borg will win too.
Hum Kim is gonna fight Safardine.
I got Kim.
Yeah, I got Kim taking that one too.
Yeah.
Yep. I got T.J. Dillashaw versus John LeCure. I got
TJ.
I'm gonna pick John LeCure on that one. So.
Really?
I
think TJ is gonna get him, man. I
Maybe
think his footwork. I think he'll avoid the big shot.
And then I got the champ Dominic Cruz gonna fight Cody Garbrandt.
I got Cruz winning that.
Yeah, you know what? I want Cruz to win, but I'll take Garbrandt in that fight. So.
Really?
I
So
will.
here's my thoughts. I think Cruz and Dillashaw both win because I think they both avoid the big shot. But either one could be beaten if they get hit right because Garbrandt and Lineker could knock them the fuck out.
I like Garbrandt in this fight because he vehemently hates Cruz so much. I mean, they had to be separated.
I think Cruz will use that to his advantage, man. Cruz is such a smart guy,
I
and
agree.
he's such a great defensive fighter.
I'll just, since you got Cruz in that fight, I'll take the other side on that one. So,
Okay.
Cody's a lot younger than Cruz, so I think Cruz has an advantage in the fight for experience wise.
Yeah, it's what 10 UFC or 10 mixed martial arts fights versus 23 or 24.
Yeah. So and then so I say Cody has the advantage of being younger and quicker. So so he's a lot younger, and there's I don't care what people say about that. There is an advantage there. When you're younger,
Sure.
you have quicker reflexes than the older guys. And especially
But Cruz has
older
been
guys,
healthier than he ever had before over the last year.
Yep, and especially older guys that have been in fights, so it just is rough on your body. Your body takes a
Cruz
toll.
has never been knocked out though.
This is true. This was going to
He's
be
not-
my next point. He's never been knocked out. So
He's not taking a bunch of blows to the face. He's such a good defensive fighter. He's able to avoid a lot of that kind of contact.
and then of course the fight of the night, champ Amanda Nunes going to fight Ronda Rousey. Of course, I'm going to take my girl Ronda Rousey. So and pray for the best.
Yeah, I think Rousey's gonna win too. I think that. So this is how I think she'll win. I think she learned from the Holly Holm fight, and she's not gonna try to stand up. She's gonna try to take it to the mat. Now, if I'm wrong about that, and she lets her ego stand her up, then she will get knocked the fuck out.
Really, you think so?
If she tries to stand up and punch with her, yes, I think that she will get run through by the lioness.
I have been paying
I think
massive
she's a smart
attention to
fighter.
Ronda. I've watched 3 open workouts of Ronda Rousey. I say that she could probably stand up with Cruz.
Fucking no, I don't think she can. People say that. People used to say that shit before about her, and then Holly Holm busted her ass. She is a fucking judo champ, and she needs to make the fight her fight, and her fight is on the mat. So if she's smart, she will stand up only long enough to bait Nunes into making a mistake, so she can armbar her ass and beat her.
I don't got no problems with that either. But I say that she could stand up and knock her out. So
I don't know, man. I think that would be a mistake. I think to win the fight, she should make it her fight, and her fight is to get it on the mat.
I think she should do that in light of that. This is her return fight after a year break. Let's get a W underneath the wings, after the break, and move on from there. Maybe you can try some fancy shit in a fight or two, But I also have a weird feeling that if she wins, this is going to be it. She may step away. So she may take the belt, and she may go 6 months, and then that might be it. So.
Well, what do you think she's gonna do if she loses?
I say she fights again if she loses. So.
I mean, she's been 15 months off, 16 months off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I
think she's gonna win. I think she'll win because I think she'll turn it into a grappling match, and not just try to stand up and throw with her.
The
I
only
think she's
thing
a
I
smart
can
enough
think of
fighter
is
to learn from
that
a loss.
if she takes another fight after she wins this one, if she wins this one, she'll want to fight Holly Holm, no matter what. So she may have to fight her in
I think they should rematch anyway, man. Like,
Well, Holly Holm's fallen
I'd
way
like to
down
see
the
that
list,
fight.
so it might not be a championship
Well,
fight.
she moved up to the bigger weight class.
Yeah. So they may have to do some kind of catch weight. Ronda Rousey wants to avenge that loss. She wants to erase that shit from people's memories. So, so that would, to me, I think she either retires after this fight, or she'll try to fight Holly Holm, and that'll be it. So, I don't think we will see years and years of Rousey. So, and it's not that she can't fight. I think she's getting older and she has a lot of other opportunities. So
Well, and her knees have been bothered. Like, she's been very vocal about the fact that her knees, they only have so much life left in them, really.
Yep.
So I think she's smart enough to know she's not going to be able to keep fighting, and she has a career in Hollywood and things like that. So getting your face punched in and getting cauliflower ear and those kind of things, that doesn't really support that Hollywood lifestyle.
And goddamn it, Ronda Rousey, get in Playboy already. For God's sakes, I want to see you buck ass naked. So,
well, I'm not going to argue with that. I mean,
just do us all a favor. Just bear it all for us one time, and I just want to see.
Well, and if you don't want to do that, then you feel free to just send the photos to the show.
That's right. I will keep them private. I promise. So. But yeah, I don't think I think Ronda wins her fight, which I really hope she does. So
I hope so too.
All right.
I like Ronda. I like McGregor. I like Cruz. I like those guys that are they're kind of full of themselves, but they back it up.
Yep.
So.
Well, we are just about at our hour mark here, so I got one other thing to say about the show real quick. If this episode gets 100, if we get 100 views on this episode and we reach the 100 sub mark, then what we'll do is we'll pick somebody that commented on this show and at random, and we'll give away a $100 gift card to Amazon. So share it with your friends on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that good shit. Get the views back in. If we get to 100 subs, 100 views on this show, we'll pick a random comment and give away a $100 Amazon gift card. So
yeah, if you're not following us in those places, please follow us in those places.
Yep. So make sure you do that. Want to mention thank BoobTube Buddies again. They ran our ad again in their show, and we will do the same in our next show for them. So thank you so much over there, guys. You guys they have a great show. They talk about they do like after what do you call it? Like they talk about Westworld.
There were show wrap-ups, breakdowns.
They do show wrap-ups and breakdowns. So they run a really cool podcast over there. So I encourage you to go over there and check them out. BoobTubeBuddies.com, and they have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that good shit too. So go show them some love and tell them that Doc and Bo sent you. So, anything else you got to say tonight before we get out of here?
No, man. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. Be safe for New Year's.
That's right. Don't drink and drive, please, folks. Get that designated driver. Call an Uber. Get a taxi. There's no need to. Yeah. We don't need to have any more deaths this year. We've lost enough. So, let's move into the new year with a positive and.
That's right. Outlook. Everybody needs a keymaster.
Yeah, that's right. So,
you remember those keymasters from high school parties?
Yes, yep. I do.
Not that we ever drank when we were underage.
No, never. So, but yeah, if you're gonna drink responsibly, folks. Make sure that you just do that for us. I don't want to hear no more. Nobody else. No more deaths. We just lost Carrie Fisher. And we don't need anybody.
And
else.
Her mom, man. Did you see?
Yeah, I saw.
Her mom, like the next day, and then I hadn't seen apparently last week, the gentleman that invented the red Solo cups passed away.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
What's his face?
My thoughts are they're playing beer pong up in heaven right now. What I mean?
George Michael's died. So.
Yeah. And I wanted to say this too. I know I've heard a bunch of people say, "Oh, we got to get out of 2016. We're losing all these celebrities." And somebody started a GoFundMe to go save Betty White, to protect Betty White. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah, I did see that. I did.
That's a real thing. Somebody did that. So one thing that like keep in mind is like in general, baby boomers are going to start to pass, and so we are going to start to lose, these like, kind of living legends and things like that. So if you enjoy them, pay homage to them,
Yeah.
follow them on their different various social medias, send them messages and things like that. Um, Watch their old movies, their old TV shows, enjoy them while they're around to be enjoyed because they won't be here forever.
I guess too. I want to tell a quick story. And it might not. A lot of people might not care about this, but I play and stream a game called Eve Online. It's a space simulator. It's a huge game. Has a massive community. Over 500 million or 500,000 people play this game on a regular basis. So, and myself and other people that I know and enjoy in life, we all play this game together. There was somebody that had been playing the game for almost 10 years, passed away recently, and I didn't know this. I was told last night by somebody else I knew. So this guy died, and 4,000 people that play that game went to this guy's funeral. Had never met him in his life. People came from Russia, they came from Sweden, they came from Australia and Japan, all to the States in this little bitty town in Indiana to go to this guy's funeral. And to me that says something huge about communities like that, whether it's a gaming community, whether it's fantasy football community, to me it just gives me a vote of confidence about people in general. Here it is, this guy, nobody doesn't know him in real life. They know him from a video game. And 4,000 people that his family had, and all these people started showing up in his family, like, how do you know this guy? And they're like, oh, we played a game with this guy for 10 fucking years, Like, and I think that, like, that touched the family, that all these people, they came to pay homage in the end to this guy that they loved and knew in this world that, that only existed to them, So, to me, whether you think that's nerdy or corny, whatever, like, whatever community you're in, so... Just
well, I think that shows the importance of relationships. Yeah.
So, I just wanted to put that out there. Like that to me, it was like just a very like awesome thing to hear. In light of this young man dying, there was people came and paid homage. People took time out of their week. People got their passports together. People came from all over the world to help bury this young man. So
yeah, that's good shit.
It was really uplifting, in light of although he died, it was just a neat, all these people congregated to come, pay their respects to him. So, anyways, that's all I got to say about that. Watch for on Twitter about updates about the show for next week. I know we won't have a show on Monday, no matter what. So, take time to be with your family on New Year's and do your thing. So.
Or if you don't like them, don't take time to be with them. Go have a good time. Just send them a message and tell them you love them.
That's right. At least tell your family that you love them on New Year's. So. All right, let's get out of here. You got anything else?
Nothing I could think of.
Happy fucking New Year. Happy holidays to you fuckers. We love you. For everybody here at Kill Cobra Studios, you guys have a good weekend. Have a safe weekend. Have a safe New Year's. Think for your fucking self and question everything, guys. We'll see you next time.
Yep. Catch y'all on the flip side.